Every time you fill up your car, you're handling one of the most refined products on the earth. That clear, powerful liquid started off as thick black crude oil buried thousands of feet underground. So how does a dark sludge become the clean fuel that powers nearly every car, truck, and airplane we use today? Gasoline might seem simple. You pump it, you drive, and that's that. But behind every gallon is a story of science, engineering, innovation that most people never see. Whether you drive to class, operate heavy equipment, or heat your home, gasoline plays a huge role in our daily lives. As a process technology student, I've studied refinery operations and learned how raw crude oil is transformed into usable fuel. Oil refineries turn crude oil into gasoline through a series of complex physical and chemical processes that separate, convert, and purify hydrocarbons into the fuels that power our everyday lives. First, I'll explain what crude oil is and why it can't be used in its natural state. Next, we'll look at how refineries separate and convert crude oil into gasoline. And finally, we'll see how refineries ensure gasoline meets strict safety and environmental standards. Crude oil is a raw, unrefined mix of chemicals that must be processed before use. When it's pulled from the ground, it looks like a thick black sludge made up of hundreds of hydrocarbons, from light gases to heavy tar-like liquids. According to a 2011 report from the International Council on Clean Transportation, crude oil also contains impurities like sulfur, nitrogen, and metals that can damage engines and pollute the air if burned directly. Refining removes those impurities and separates the oil into usable parts through heat and pressure. You can think of the crude oil like a mixed up stack of puzzle pieces. All the right parts are there, but they need to be sorted and fitted into the place before they form something useful. Now that we know why crude oil needs refining, let's see how it's turned into gasoline. The first step is called fractional distillation. Refineries heat crude oil until it boils. As the vapor rises through a tall tower, lighter products like propane and gasoline rise to the top, while heavier materials like diesel and asphalt remain lower. That tower can be over 100 feet tall, with dozens of trays inside that collect vapors at different boiling points. It's like a giant coffee filter separating the lightest aromas from the heavier ones below. After that comes catalytic cracking, where heat, pressure, and special catalysts break down large molecules into smaller, cleaner burning ones. The International Council on Clean Transportation explains that one 42-gallon barrel of crude oil produces about 20 gallons of gasoline, along with diesel, jet fuel, and other products. It's like recycling. Nothing goes to waste. It's just reshaped into something new. Once the fuel is made, it still has to meet strict government and environmental standards before it reaches your gas tank. Before gasoline leaves the refinery, it's tested and blended to make sure it meets U.S. fuel standards. According to the transportpolicy.net, modern standards limit sulfur in gasoline to less than 10 parts per million. That's 90% reduction from 20 years ago. And as Griffiths and colleagues explained in a 2022 study published in Energy Research and Social Science, refineries around the world are adopting cleaner technologies like carbon capture and energy-efficient furnaces to reduce emissions. Many refineries even reuse their own heat and gases, turning waste into power for the rest of the process. It's a closed loop, efficient, careful, and designed to protect both people and the planet. These efforts help create cleaner air, better fuel performance, and more sustainable production overall. From the oil field to the refinery tower, and finally to the pump, every part of the process plays a role in producing the fuel that keeps our world in motion. As a review, crude oil starts as a thick, impure mixture. Through heat and chemistry, refineries separate and convert it into usable fuels like gasoline, diesel, and jet fuel. And at the end, rigorous quality control ensure it meets strict safety and environmental standards. So next time you fill up your tank, think about that journey. From deep underground, through towers of heat and steel, to the pump in your hand. That single moment, squeezing the handle and hearing the rush of fuel, represents centuries of discoveries, decades of innovation, and thousands of people working to keep energy flowing safely and cleanly. Refining is what turns nature's raw resource into the energy that keeps our world running. And understanding it reminds us just how connected we are to the science that powers our everyday lives.